Hey, welcome everyone. I'm working on a video that I recorded in 2010. This was something I don't remember what I posted it on, if I posted it on anything. Um, but I want to discuss the editing process and everything I did for this. So the video that you're looking at now, there's a thumbnail associated with it. I worked on the thumbnail. I did that in Photoshop, and the way that I did that was I brought in the video itself, which you can open up video in Photoshop. This is the video that I opened. And I'm looking at frame 1. I copied that frame. You can do Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and then create a new file. So I'll actually do that right now. Control A, Control C. So, and that's the layer that's selected. And then I do a new and create that, paste that in there. And then I got a template that I created. Just copy that template over. We'll put this into the titled. Now we'll see that that template's there, and that template I can move it around anywhere. Just leave it there. I could change its size if I want. But now you see it's covering up some of this photo for the image. So I'll select the background. I'll just move it over. You see the gap. There's a gap at the top there, so I'll just slide it over so that it's just covered up there. You see, the big thing that I want you to see is the snap circuits. This is a transistor radio. And the oscilloscope. It is a lightning detector that I built. So this was a project that I did with Johnny, my son, when he was 9 years old. So what grade was that? What grade he was in? So anyway, he's a junior now. So that was quite a bit ago. Definitely grade school. And then you add your text. You can hit the T key in Photoshop. So it's like type whatever. But the problem is that the layer. So I'm going to drag this layer up above. And so if you want something like that, you can change the size of the text. Hit the T key again, highlight the text. And then up top here, you can drag this around to change the size of the text. That was just Control Alt mouse wheel I did. You can see that text is a little bit too big. Anyway, when you're done, you save off the JPEG, and then you can make that your background. So one thing I'm doing, the thing that inspired me with this was Chuck Hellbuck's video. He has a video that he posted. I recommend you subscribe to Chuck's channel. He's got this video here that he uses snap circuits. It's a great tool for anyone to learn at any age, really. I think it's geared more towards kids. But he created a custom snap circuit element with his 3D printer. So you can see he got the snaps here that he ordered. Tells you how to build the model. And then he went through and put it together, put an LED in it, and then I'll get to the part where he actually plugs it in. And
I use these.
he got it. He actually ended up getting it all working. So that's what reminded me that I built something and I did a project with Johnny. So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm editing this video. And there's a part in this video I got to, let's see. This is Adobe Premiere. If you don't know what Adobe Premiere is, it's a video editing tool. non-linear editing. And this is my timeline. So the timeline allows you to see the clips or whatever. When I brought the video in, it's a 3GP file. The audio did not convert. I had to open the audio inside Audition. I saved it off as a WAV file. There was one area where lightning went off. And you got to keep in mind, this was a video that was recorded prior to me. I'm far from being polished. I am a Toastmaster, but it's a different environment when you're doing recording by yourself. I'm saying a lot of ums. There's one part in the video where you hear thunder, and I wanted to enhance that part. And I did that here, and all I did was increase the amplitude. So you can hear the thunder there. So I enhanced that part and brought the audio in. That's why you see the audio here is green. And if you know that when lightning occurs, so this is the oscilloscopes hooked up to the circuit, and it's a transistor radio, and it's amplitude modulation. So when you, at whatever frequency you're looking at, when lightning occurs or a strong EM pulse of some sort, it'll add to the amplitude across all frequencies. And that's being reflected here with the spike that's recorded. And I captured that picture down. So I want to talk about how I'm editing this. Now, this is not a quality video. This is like, I think 640 by 480 maybe is the video resolution, or maybe even lower, I'm not sure. This was done on a cell phone, like I said, in 2010, not 9 years ago. It was 7 years ago it was done. So let me turn off these layers. See these layers. And this is just the video and the sound playing. Let me play through this.
And we can tell when lightning occurs. When the lightning occurs, you can see the big peaks in the signal.
All right, so then what I did was I measured the time. I created an in and an out. Let me go back to that. So here's the in. I marked that here, mark in. And then I marked the out here. And then you can see the time for this area is 9 seconds, about 9 seconds, the 9.5, somewhere around there. If I were to zoom in a little bit more when the peak occurred. And then I introduced some text in the layer. I'll turn that layer on. And this is just like the roll. It's a basic roll. You can calculate it yourself. It's about 5 seconds is a mile. So once you see the lightning, you count 1,000, 2, 1,000. It's not exact. To the time you stop counting when you hit the lightning, and for every 5 seconds, that's a mile. So this is about 10 seconds, so it's about 2 miles. So what I did was, so I added that text in there to explain it. And then I added this text in here to describe what happened. And then I added more text, which was a series of seconds to count down. So you see it's counting down now, so I'll play that. And each one of these is a separate text.
When the lightning occurs, you can see the big
and they're 1 second intervals. And so that's how this video is being made. And then the other thing I did was I took that peak and extracted that frame. And that's this frame here, because I wanted to bring attention to the peak, because you might miss it when you're watching on the cell phone. And to to capture that frame, I was on it right about there, and I hit this button here, which is export frame, and then imported the frame. There's a checkbox to import the frame into the project. That's this frame here. I just drug that frame down over top of this. Use some cropping methods, which you can grab a filter from your tool palette, your effects palette here, and I just typed in crop, and that revealed this crop here, and I applied that by double clicking on that crop to here, and that's the crop filter here, and then I adjusted these percentages so you can see if it doesn't really matter for the left so much because I have it all the way to the left of the top here. You can see that was the whole frame, including the text, was there. All I'm doing was just adjusting that. So I cropped it out. So that way it brought your attention to that signal. That now you can see it as the rest of the video plays as an overlay. So the oscilloscope, the idea of an oscilloscope is just to show a visual representation of signals. And this is an analog scope, which I really prefer a DSO, a digital storage oscilloscope, because you can lock the screen, but an analog, once the signal's gone, that's it, it's gone. So you're just sitting there, you're looking for patterns or whatever. So you can sit there and record it with like a 60 frames a second camera or 120 frames a second camera. You want to capture something that's occurring.
Okay, what we built here was a transistor radio on the AM. What we have is 2 transistors here and a tuning capacitor. And we have an oscilloscope hooked up to it.
So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm making this video. And then, so I have the audio in place. I don't have to worry too much about the audio being synced up exactly. It is with this video. This one it was off by like a frame or two. If you have some action or somebody talking and the audio is not synchronized, it'll be apparent. You have to go through a method of shifting the audio. And I only bring that up because I had to bring this into Adobe Audition. So essentially the audio is a separate file from the video, which otherwise, if you brought in an MP4 file, the audio and video would be synchronized based on the device that recorded it. So now I'm going to export this video. See, now the microphone is being used. I don't know if I can use the microphone here at the same time. Check our audio preferences. I don't know if this is going to cause a conflict with testing 1, 2. No, we still hear the audio. So if I do something with recording, it could break my stream as far as the audio is concerned. So default input. Let's say we do the Yeti microphone. Mappings and Filament. Okay. Audio is still working. I don't know if it's going to be able to work. Then I'm going to choose this as my recording layer. I'll bring up my audio track. This is my recording track. And if I play and hit record, this is a test. I gotta hit play first. This is a test of audio. This is a test of audio. All right, so now let's see if the audio is still working. Yeah, it's still working. Yeah, so anyway, if I were to do a voiceover, that's how I would do it. And if you notice, I wanted it to be here, but it jumped me all the way out to here, and that's based on the mark in. So if I clear the mark ins, clear clear in and out. And if I were to do audio here, and I think I have to up the audio level was not high at all. And we'll do a mark in there, let it ride the whole way. And let me mute that. So now the 2 tracks are muted. And then I can just talk freely over this, and then I can figure out where that clip is going to be. So audio's still working. Good. Stream is still working. Let's try to give this some voiceover. Hey, so John, what do you do? No. I gotta mute the audio. So if I mute the audio, let me hit M3. Happen. Testing 1, 2. So let me hit M3 again. Okay. So I have this this keyboard that allows me to mute everything by hitting M3. I want to see if that works. So let's give a quick test here. I'm gonna play Chuck's video. I'm gonna hit M3. Nope, not working. All right, so we'll cover that later. The recording audio, because I just don't want to hear the feedback. Although I could turn down. You know what? We'll do that. I'll just turn down the speakers. So let's record again. This is a voiceover for this video. Hi, so John, what do you do it? This is a video that I created in 2010 where I created a lightning detector. It was a little project I did with my son at the time. I don't know, 7 years ago. So he was 9 years old. And the purpose of this project was to quickly show a visual indication that lightning is occurring. We did this ahead of a storm. And you can see here in this video that lightning occurs right about now. You'll see a peak occur, and then you count for every 5 seconds. It's a mile, so you can see I'm counting down, and then we hear thunder, and it was approximately 10 seconds, so that was about 2 miles away. So thanks for watching, everyone, and that's about it for this stream. I'm going to wrap this up and export the video, upload it to YouTube, and that's it. So thanks for watching.